On today's ride, we head out from Table Mesa Road and drive to the historic Tip Top Mine, tucked away in a hidden canyon in the foothills of the Bradshaw Mountains. The trail will offer a little bit of everything from water crossings to rocky and rutted out roads. At the mine, which was once the third largest town in Arizona, we'll explore the ruins from the lower stamp mill foundations to the upper entrances of the mine and everything in between, including a stop at Arizona's first brewery. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Table Mesa Road. We are parked here right off I-17, getting unloaded and ready for today's ride. The plan is to head up Tip Top Mine Trail, which is about 11 miles each way. We picked this spot for a ride because we've heard some rumors online that the trail may be closing in the near future, just before the mine due to vandalism. Now that is just a rumor right now, so we will be looking to get out on the trail, see if there are any obvious changes, and try to get some good photos and videos in order to document the mine ruins in case it does ever close down to the public. It's been quite a few years since we've run this trail, so we are looking forward to visiting what has become one of our favorite spots and enjoying the day out on the ATVs. Leaving the first of the many staging areas, the trail remains slightly rutted out, but generally very smooth and fast moving. Table Mesa is an incredibly busy spot for four-wheelers, shooters, and jeepers, so expect heavy traffic and always be on guard for other vehicles on the trail. After passing the Little Pan staging area, the trail gets more scenic and fun. The road climbs and remains mostly easy. Just before the 4-mile mark, the trail drops down a pretty steep hill into the Agua Fria River. The trail is sandy at first, but eventually does come to a river crossing. The Agua Fria depth can vary greatly depending on the time of year. Unless it has rained recently though, the river is typically pretty low here. The BLM has done a good job making this crossing and diverting traffic through this point. This scenic area is also a nice spot for a break. We crossed the river and headed uphill on the other side. The road turns north and heads past a private mining operation on site of the former town of Gillette. There used to be some ruins to explore at Gillette, but some recent property changes mean that all of that is now fenced off, so do respect all of the posted signs that you may see in this area. Past the river, things slowly get rougher. After joining a Jeep club for a few minutes, we passed some of the many technical vehicle trails in the area. With names like Annihilator, Terminator, and Collateral Damage, there are plenty of trails to check out, ranging in difficulty from a graded dirt road to what most people probably wouldn't even consider drivable. It was cool to see a few Jeeps out tackling these trails as we passed by. The rest of the trail to the mine was slower and rougher. After some more scenic views of the Table Mesa and New River area, the trail reaches a high point around 8 miles and then heads west downhill. At the bottom of the hill is another small creek crossing. From here on out, the trail follows Cottonwood Creek upstream to the town of Tip Top. The trail condition along this stretch can vary greatly, but we found it mostly easy with a few moderate spots. A little bit of careful tire placement is needed along some of the wash crossings, but otherwise, it's in pretty good shape. After another couple of miles, we arrived at the town site of Tip Top. Ruins dot both sides of the trail. There's a lot to check out here if you feel like hiking around for a while. We parked the ATVs at the site of the former saloon and got out on foot to begin exploring the town. The ruins of the large 50-ton flotation mill and its tailings dominate the north side of the road. The mill had numerous levels designed to process ore on site. We walked around some of the old ruins, which include large cement foundations, metal pipes, and anchors, but that is about all that is left of the mill site today. Looking down from the mill, numerous other buildings can be seen just about everywhere you look. Perhaps the most intact ruins in Tip Top today are that of the former assay office, beer parlor, and of course brewery, which claims to be the first in Arizona. The brewery was established and run by one of the local German residents at the time. This 3-roomed building has a couple of fireplaces and doorways remaining. The mine headquarters and a foundation of one of the restaurants are also found nearby. The history of Tip Top is an interesting one, like most other boom towns around Arizona. The area was first prospected in 1875 by Jack Moore and Bill Corning. After taking samples and assaying the original prospects up in Prescott, the owners claimed she's a Tip Top silver mine, and hence the name was born. The mines quickly began operating after this, and a town, along with all of the amenities, shortly followed. The prime location in a tight canyon with reliable water, good shade, and tolerable winter weather made this a good town site. Ore was originally hauled by burro up to the top of the hill, and then by wagon east to the Agua Fria before a stamp mill was built on site. The stamp mill was replaced with the larger flotation mill as ore from the 800-foot shaft was processed on site. The Tip Top was primarily a silver producer with ore valued at 500 to 1,000 ounces per ton during the most profitable years. The town boomed and was home to about 1,200 people at its height in the 1880s. A post office opened, and the town also had saloons, laundries, stores, and the aforementioned brewery, restaurant, and mine offices. Ownership changed hands and the mine shut down around the turn of the century, but was worked for tungsten again in the 1910s and 20s. After that, Tip Top had played out and the town was abandoned. After checking out the lower ruins, we headed west uphill to check out one of the adits on the south side of the canyon. This series of tunnels sits precariously on the hillside. With cool air blowing out of the mine, but a pretty small entrance, it is unclear how deep this tunnel goes back. From this vantage point, however, we did have a good view of much of the ruins of Tip Top we had just checked out. Back on the other side of the road is a really rough trail that leads up to the top of the mine. It is here where the main headframe and tunnel can be found. This shaft goes down 800 feet to the deepest levels of the mine. Haulage tunnels and workings make up the hillside far below and used to connect via tram and track to the mill site below. The mine entrance has been gated off for the last several years, and with good reason. It's quite a steep drop down. After checking out the historic town site for a couple of hours, we figured it was time to start heading back. On the way out of town, we passed through what looks to be a newly constructed gate. While the gate was open, it is very possible that this could end up shut and locked one day, further fueling the rumors we've seen online. While we didn't see any obvious evidence of theft or vandalism, the mine is still in private hands, so unfortunately there's not much that can be done other than being respectful and hopeful that others will do the same when they visit this really cool spot. The drive back was quick. There was lots of other traffic on the way back, so be on the lookout for other people also enjoying the trail. We crossed the river and eventually made it back to our staging area along Table Mesa Road. Overall, this was a great trail ride out to a really neat historical spot buried in the mountains. Tip Top Trail is a lot of fun with a little something for everyone. It has some fast-moving sections, it has some river crossings, some sandy sections, and a little bit of rocky and rutted trail. I would say the overall trail condition is easy to moderate, and was actually quite a bit easier than the last time we did the drive. Stock four-wheel drive vehicles with a good driver can likely make it back to the mine. Again, these conditions could change at any time depending on recent rains or when the last time it was maintained, so always use your own judgment. The 22 miles to Tip Top and back can be done in a few hours, although it'd be real easy to add some extra time exploring the countless additional trails along the way. Anyways, that wraps up this video. I hope that you enjoyed the history and some of the sites and can check it out for yourself if you haven't already. Hopefully the trail will remain open for years to come for people to enjoy this awesome area. Thanks for tagging along on this ride today, and we'll see you on the next one.